Boom. I want you in my room. Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. This is our Manchester United versus Club Brugge preview and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer press conference reaction. Interesting as well that we did get another question asked by Flex. I don't know how he manages to do it, but he was in the press conference, of course. And Manchester United versus Club Brugge then, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer with some big updates as well with regards to Manchester United. Some sad news in relation to Marcus Rashford and his injury setback as well. Personally, I'm not massively surprised, but I to be honest, I was talking to somebody yesterday, and I said I saw Marcus Rashford driving into Carrington, and I thought he's going to be back. He's going to be back in like mid-March. Well, that's not going to be the case. Marcus Rashford could actually be out till the end of the season, which is a huge blow for Manchester United. I said today that I feel that we're favourites for fourth spot. I think it'll be difficult, but I think we are going to be favourites for that. But with Rashford being out for that, we'll talk about that. Lots to talk about from Ollie. We'll also go through the game itself, predicted lineups now that we know who's there and who's not. But yeah, Flex was in the press conference, so he did ask a good question. He did message me before and he said, I've got a question ready, but if I can get two questions, what would you ask? And I said, ask Ollie what he thinks of the 3-5-2, because I hate the 3-5-2, and whether you can get an inclination as to whether he's going to keep playing it. And he thought he was going to get two questions. He asked the one about 3-5-2 and he didn't get his own question. So we did get an answer to that question. We'll talk about that in a minute. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, let's do his press conference reaction, then we'll talk about the game itself. So, starting off with Marcus Rashford, what was said about Marcus Rashford? He said basically that it's touch and go, that he'll be back towards the end of the season. We were hoping it's going to be quicker, but he's definitely going to be out for a few more months. Now that is significant, few more months, because we're in the middle of February. I thought he may be back in mid-March, but I've got to say, the club, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Marcus Rashford are doing the right thing here. So what's happened is they felt that because Rashford was not feeling any pain, they felt before the scan it was going to be good news. He's had a further scan and the damage to the fracture to the back is worse than they thought. And basically the medical advice, as was said at the time, as Van Persie said himself because he's had it, you've got to let it heal. You might feel like it's all right, but you've got to let it heal. So what's happened with Rashford is he's had the second scan or the third scan or whatever. The latest scan has basically said that Rashford is months away. He's got to let it heal. And he may feel like he can play games, and United could be tempted to play games, but I've got to applaud Solskjaer, Rashford and Manchester United on this. Rashford we want for 10 years, not for 10 months. And look, Rashford back could make us get top four. I totally agree with that. But we want this lad to be here for years. And if he goes and plays with this injury again and makes it 10 times worse, it could be one that slows him down for the rest of his career. So it's sad news about Rashford, it really is, because I think before his injury he was one of the best players in Europe. But we've got to learn the lesson here. We've got to let him recuperate. And if that means he's back for the last month of the season, I think we're looking at May. I think that's what Solskjaer's saying. Rashford could be back in May. If we can elongate our season long enough in the Europa League and the top four race, then maybe he can come back for that. I think he'll still play in the Euros. I definitely do think he'll play in the Euros, but I don't think he's going to be back for United until May. Zayn Miassi says, I think if you'd bought Haaland, you would have finished fourth. What a player. Well, let me just say about that. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was asked about Haaland. I didn't think he'd answer it. And he said, I don't normally talk about players from other clubs, but as a Norwegian and as someone who managed him before, I'm so pleased for him. He's a great asset for Norway, and I think it's just great what he's doing. I think, maybe people were looking for Ollie to say, I wish I'd signed him. Well, we wish we did sign him. The story's gone. For me, the Haaland thing's over now. We didn't get him. Who knows what the truth was. He would have been. I mean, did you see that run from his own half yesterday? Not only is he a goal scorer and he's big, he's fast as I nearly swore. He is a great player. I wish we'd signed him, and I think he's going to get better and better. Welcome to the United Stand Members Club, Matt Eek. That reminds me, just very, very quickly, I've just got to say this. Links in the video description. The United Stand podcast is back. We have been uploading some content from YouTube, but there is a brand new episode on the podcast, which is never going to be on YouTube. It's exclusive. It's taking the members' questions. I recorded it this afternoon. It's up. The link's in the video description, so make sure you check that out. If you do listen to podcasts, I think you're going to really enjoy it, and that's back as a weekly thing, so check it out. We're also doing giveaways through the podcast, so Go and give it a listen. I'll remind you of that in a minute. What else did Ollie talk about? There's going to be rotation. He was asked whether Agallo is going to start. He said, we haven't made our mind up yet, but there will be rotation. Now, this is my predicted 11 on the left-hand side here. Let's not forget that Club Brugge have dropped down from the Champions League. They're not some Europa League spammers. They've dropped down from the Champions League. They were in Real Madrid and PSG's group. They drew with Real Madrid in the Bernabeu. They lost to PSG twice. They lost to Real Madrid in Bruges. But they drew with Galatasaray home and away. They're not a pushover. Tomorrow, a lot of people are saying it could be a draw. I think we're going to win. I think we're going to win 2-0 and we'll beat them in the second leg. I think we'll get through this tie. But they're not an easy game. It's not like Astana. It's not like Belgrade, where, with all due respect, we should be winning. This game it's a game we should win, but it's a potential banana skin. I think we'll make changes, though. Ollie himself said in his press conference that he's not happy that we had 16, 17 days off. We play on a Monday and then we're playing Thursday, Sunday. We should have been playing at the weekend. Premier League should be helping out clubs who are in Europe. And I agree with him on that. But he does need to rotate, because what's more important? If we draw or lose 1-0 tomorrow night, we can still turn it round in the second leg. If we draw or lose to Watford at the weekend, that's 3 massive points gone. So Watford's the priority. We know that McTominay's now back in training. I think you rest Matic for Sunday. You bring McTominay in to start getting a bit of game time back. Deloaf, I think, will come in for Wan-Bissaka. Lindelof's back fit, so Lindelof comes in for Bay because you don't want to overplay him. I think Maguire plays because he's captain. Romero comes in for De Gea. Shaw comes in plays at left back, and Williams is rested for Watford. Or you could do it the other way round. McTominay comes into the midfield, and I would play Fred because he's been so important. Mata can play, so give Bruno a rest. I think Bruno should have a rest. He might not rest Bruno, but I would. What I don't want to see is Fred getting a rest and Bruno playing CDM is why I've put Mata in. I don't see Lingard starting because he wasn't even on the bench at the weekend, so why would he start? Pereira was in the press conference and was on the bench, so I think Pereira will start. Play Dan James on the left, put Martial up front. Greenwood I don't think will even play. I think Greenwood might be injured. He didn't train today, so I don't think Greenwood will be there. And that's how I think we'll line up. I might be totally wrong. Thoughts on Adalo FC? GC Mark, says Luca. Look, I'd like to see Agallo come on for the second half. So I'd like to see Martial play 45 minutes, the first 45 minutes. Bring Agallo on for 45 minutes. I don't think he's ready for 90. So that's how I would line up. I think we're going to win 2-0. In relation to Paul Pogba, Boss Belly, he wants a bit of Pogba news. There is a bit of Pogba news. You're right. I chose to focus on Marcus Rashford because he is Manc born and bred. He is our future. He loves our football club. And I think the injury to Rashford is more significant than Pogba, who's done nothing for us this season. I want Paul Pogba to get back. Interestingly, I think Solskjaer was quite dismissive here. Not in a nasty way to Pogba, just in a bit of... I almost felt like Solskjaer wanted to say, I'll deal with what I've got. I'll deal with the players that want to play. Pogba, let's just wait and see. Because when he was asked about when Paul Pogba will be back, he said he's not even training with the team yet. When he starts training with the team, we'll then be able to say when he's going to be match fit. But he's nowhere near training with the team yet, and he's nowhere near that. And until he's ready for that, we can't even talk about him being back. So I think it's been said that Pogba might be back for the Man City game at the start of March. But I think tomorrow, Watford, the second leg, Everton, Derby, I don't think we're going to see Paul Pogba. So we go with what we got. But we've got McTominay back. My husband's a huge will you help announce, says Andrew S. I don't know what you're on about, but I don't know what you're on about. And 352 says Risha Reach. I don't want us to see us playing 3 at the back tomorrow. But let me talk about that. Flex actually was in the press conference in Bruges, and this is the question I wanted him to ask. He didn't get to ask his own for some reason. I said to him, "Can you ask Ole Gunnar Solskjaer if you get a question about the 3-5-2? Is it a long-term plan? Is it an option that we've got?" What's the thought process behind that? So he was asked about this, and Ollie actually said, Manchester United don't normally play with 3 centre-backs. Traditionally we play with about 4. Jingle bells, that's what I want to hear. But he said it's been an option for us. We've got a lot of midfielders back. We've got a lot of centre-backs back now. So it's an option for us in a few games. To be honest with you, I can deal with that. I don't like the 3-5-2. I don't like 3 centre-backs. I don't think we needed 3 centre-backs against Chelsea, and we still beat them. But I agree, it's an option in some games. I just don't want it to become a consistent option. I like the 4 at the back. I actually, long term, want us to stop playing 4-2-3-1 and start playing 4-1-3-2 or something like that. I want 1 holding midfielder, not 2, but I certainly don't want a back 5. So I was happy about that, and obviously United stand. You should all feel proud when there's a United Stand member in a press conference asking a question. Congratulations, Andrew. You're going to be a dad, says Andrew S. Oh, okay. So congratulations, Andrew. You're going to be a dad. That was the comment there. I'm sure you're going to get a lot of comments in the live comments. Spit it out. What do you think of Shaw's recent performances at centre-back, says R. Davies? I think Luke Shaw's been doing really well at the moment. I really do. I think Luke Shaw's been doing really good. Ollie was also asked about the Man City ban. What does that mean in relation... We've got a few good topics still to come. Hold on. Man City ban. Also, there's no 8 o'clock show tonight while I think about it. I'm watching Spurs versus RB Leipzig, a Timo Werner watch, and a fourth place watch. I'm interested to see how Spurs are going to do without Kane and Son. 8 o'clock, Mark Goldbridge, that's football. You can join me there for a watch along. So we can have... Basically, I'll watch the match and chat about United anyway, so you can join me on there. But Ollie was asked about the Man City ban and whether, if Man City win their appeal, 5th place might not actually be good enough, so you've still got to go for 4th. And Ollie actually said, to be honest with you, it's all about consistency. We want to win the Europa League. That's why we're in Bruges. We want to win the Europa League, and that gets us Champions League football anyway. And I think Ollie's right. But he said that, with regards to the league, consistency is key. We know this. Van Persie was talking about it today with United. You lot have spoken about it. It's about consistency. But there was also a question that I quite liked as well about, remember Mourinho a couple of years ago or 3 years ago, he had to prioritise the Europa League because this Thursday, Sunday football, which is going to start for us now, Thursday, Sunday, every bloody week, it's difficult, it's rigid. It's not like the Champions League where you could play Tuesday, Sunday or Wednesday, Saturday. It's always Thursday night, 4 o'clock on a Sunday if you're lucky. So it's a very short turnaround. And I've always said that, and Lee McGochran says, is there any news on Twan Sebi? He is training with the team. I don't know whether Twan Sebi will play. But I've always said that you can't do Europa League and the Premier League top 4 if you're in a battle for it. If you're Leicester and you're comfortably top 4, you can do it. But if you're battling for 4th and you're battling for the Europa League, I think it's impossible to do in the modern game. I do. I think Chelsea did it a few years ago. I think it's very hard to do, and we've seen people stumble. And you can almost go for both and end up with nothing. And I think Mourinho was right a few years ago to prioritise the Europa League. So Ollie was asked about that. And again, it was a good answer. He said, look, I hope I've got that decision to make in a few weeks' time. He said it's not a decision for now, obviously, because we can play Bruges, we can play Watford, we can go for both. We've got the squad for it. But obviously, in a few weeks' time, start of April, when it really comes down to fatigue and lots of games, maybe there's a decision to be made. But for now, it's about consistency and it's about winning games. So, look, but he did say we have got a squad that's basically got 2 players in each position, so we can rotate. But I don't... Look, what I think the question is... He's sort of answered his own question there. You might have a squad with 2 players in each position, but what you can't do is play your best team Thursday, Sunday. So, if you're going to play Delo in one... You've got... Basically, he's answered the question. He will have to prioritise. If we go deep into the Europa League and we keep in the race for top 4, for 4th place, he's going to have to prioritise because you can't pick, for example, De Gea, Wan-Bissaka, Maguire, Bailly, Williams, Fred, Matic, Bruno, Martial, and whoever the other players. I mean, who plays? I don't know. We haven't got Rashford. You can't play them Thursday, Sunday. You just can't do it. And if you don't play them in one, whether you've got a big squad or not, it's not your first team when you're playing the other. So hopefully we will have to prioritise because, I mean, somebody said to me today, if we get knocked out of the Europa League by Bruges, it will help our chances for the Premier League. And you know what? Cynically, it probably does. I think that if we did get knocked out of the Europa League, there would be a real big storm around Ollie. But ultimately, it might make our chances of top 4 easier. I suspect when I watch Spurs later on tonight, that will be in... Mourinho's a cynic. He's very clinical. And I think Mourinho might think, if we get knocked out by RB Leipzig, we can focus on top 4. So it will be interesting how that goes. Andreas Pereira was in the press conference as well. He was asked about, what things are like at United. He's speaking about Bruno. He said it was good to have the break. Settled in really well. There's a happy and positive feel about the club. He was also asked about his own form, and he said, look, I'm happy to be playing a lot of games, and I'm happy that the manager's got faith in me. I mean, there's always There's always a token player, isn't there? What am I on about, token player? There's always a Manchester United player in there, and it normally is a player that's going to start. So I think Pereira will start. And Pereira at the moment appears to be ahead of Jesse Lingard. So yeah, that's a good thing. But look, Manchester United versus Club Brugge. Lots and lots of information from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer there. Look, I'm sad. I'm feeling sad. But Ryan Burke says that Ollie has said that Twansibi will return from injury after the international break. He's training now, mate. He's back in training with McTominay, so I think he's going to be back way before there. Krito Janga says that Fred needs a rest, and we are still in the FA Cup. Yes, James Green, we are. I mean, Fred does need a rest. I think Greenwood is injured, Mr. Beast, yes. So I don't think we'll see Greenwood at all tomorrow, and probably not at the weekend either. Mark, have you heard about Connor Stanley getting the call up? He was in training today. Yeah, I don't think he'll be involved. He's like 18 years age, isn't he? Where is the press conference available at, says Jacob Hulbach. It will be coming out on the MUTV channel, I think, 6 o'clock tonight. It's repeated. But we will have the clip. Let me have a look. Might even have it already. We will have the clip of Flex asking the question. He's not sent it me yet. He sent me an audio. He could be saying other stuff on there, so I can't play it out until we finished the video. James needs to be dropped, says Druv Saraf. Yeah, but I think that Dan James, in this sort of a game, could get his confidence up. But let me just say about Club Brugge, they're better than people think they are. They're on the level of like an AZ Alkmaar. I think if AZ Alkmaar played Club Brugge, it'd be a close game. And AZ Alkmaar did quite well against us. I know we blew them away in the start of the second half at Old Trafford, but the first half they were a better footballing team than us. And away from home, I felt they were a better footballing team than us. So Club Brugge, I think if we come out of there with a result, i.e. a win, it will be a good result. Some say it'll be a draw. I wouldn't say it's impossible that we lose, but I think there's a bit of a buzz around us at the moment. I mean, if he plays that team, it could struggle. I think if we play Bruno, we'll win, and that's maybe why he's going to play Bruno. Lindelof is back, yes. A few people asking about that. Views on Mino Raiola comments, says Knuckle. I'm not really interested in Mino Raiola that much at the moment. The chart show is going to be back, yes. I need to record that, but I think in the one thing I wanted to ask you on this show is that what this is social media, right? Basically, I put a tweet out yesterday and I said, don't ever tell me Ollie's not a lucky manager. Look at the injury crisis Chelsea have got. Look at Spurs, they've got no forwards. Don't tell me Ollie's not a lucky manager. And I had loads of people replying to me saying, oh, Pogba's been out all season, Martial's been injured, Rashford's injured, stop being so negative towards Ollie. And I was like, whoa. That's like French for stop a horse, isn't it? Like, realistically, how are you reading that tweet like anything else other than I think we're favourites for top 4? I think I know Rashford's a massive blow and Pogba's still out, but I still think across our squad, and yes, our squad needs a lot of work, I think we're in a better shape than Chelsea and Spurs, who are the main rivals for 4th spot. So I think we, at the moment, are favourites for 4th spot in the Premier League. And I don't know what you lot think. And I'm not saying by any means we haven't got injuries, because we have. But I do think Ollie's a lucky manager, because I think when you are presiding over the worst season we've had since 1989, you shouldn't even be in a race for top 4. But we are lucky that Spurs and Chelsea have left that door open, and that at this current moment in time, forgetting what's gone before, as of now, I think we've got the best chance of top 4. But a lot of people don't seem to think that's the case, and you know, I can see the pros and the cons, but to have that in your own hands, I think many of us would never have thought that would be the case a couple of weeks ago. So it's down to the players and it's down to Ollie now. Sheffield United, Nuran and Matthew Ashford and BL Gamer. Look, Sheffield United are a risk. They're a risk. And you can't say they're not going to get 4th spot because Leicester have got 3rd. And there is an element of me in a sadistic banter way that thinks, how funny would it be if Man City and Liverpool obviously get top 4, but Leicester and Sheffield United get it as well, and United, Arsenal, Chelsea and Spurs don't. That would just be absolutely ridiculous. But Sheffield United, I just don't think they can do it, but they've been defying the odds all season. But from Manchester United's point of view, I do think we can get 4th spot. I do think Bruno is going to make a massive difference. And I said, look, I love Bruno Fernandes. I've been on about him for bloody ages. But what I also said when we bought him, remember like Gary Neville and everyone was like, quite right, he said, you've got to be patient. Not many January signings hit the ground running. You've got to give him time. You can't put too much pressure on him. Loads of people said that. And I said, as probably Bruno Fernandes' biggest fan, I said, I am going to put pressure on him because I know what he is. I know what sort of player he is. I know he's not going to take time to adjust. I expect him to come in and make contributions to 10 goals over the next 3 months. Well, he's already done one with the Maguire thing. I knew Bruno would make an instant impact, and he will make an instant impact, and I think that's why United will get better as a team. I agree against Chelsea. Actually, if Batshuayi could hit the ocean from a boat, he would have won them that game. They had the chances to win that game. We had a little bit of luck, but you need a bit of luck, don't you? I think United, the Chelsea game to me is symbolic. We were a bit lucky, but we deserved to win, and you need that to get momentum. It's what we do with those Chelsea 3 points that define the rest of our season. Do we go on and have a good run in the Europa League? Do we go on and beat Watford and Everton over the next 2 games? And if we do that, then the Chelsea game will be the spark. But will we drop back into our inconsistent ways? We'll have to wait and see. And remember, Watford have had 2 weeks off because they didn't play at the weekend, so they've had 2 weeks off. So big challenge for us. Ollie knows that it's a big challenge as well. Almost on Devil's number 666 for subscribers. I know I'm very wary of 666,000 subscribers. I sort of want to whiz through that quite quickly. Please do subscribe if you're new, by the way, and smash a like on the video. There is no 8 o'clock show tonight. There normally is an 8 o'clock show. There is no 8 o'clock show tonight because we've done this one, and I'm going to watch Spurs versus Leipzig, mainly because I want to watch Werner, but also to have a little look at Spurs in the race for top 4. But I'll be watching that game as a watch along on Mark Goldbridge That's Football, so I will be talking about United. So basically there is an 8 o'clock show. It's on Mark Goldbridge That's Football, so make sure you pop over there and subscribe for when we go live. I think the live comments is already open. But yeah, and also tomorrow the watch along, it's a 6 o'clock kickoff UK time. Remember that, it's not 8 o'clock, it's 6 o'clock Europa League. So 6 o'clock tomorrow night. We'll be live at about 4:45 with the team news. So looking forward to that. Also, very big shout out for this. The podcast is back. We have been uploading a few episodes from YouTube on the podcast, but now there's an exclusive weekly podcast that won't be on YouTube that you have to listen to. So the links are in the video description for that. And also we are doing giveaways through the podcast now as well to sort of promote the podcast, because I want the podcast to do well. And basically what we're doing with the podcast is it's free. The links are in the video description, but a lot of the content is coming from the members from YouTube. So if you are a member, make sure you're checking out the community tab, because a lot of your questions got read out today. So that's good. And the giveaways, all you got to do to get the giveaway is listen to the podcast and you'll see what you've got to do that. So make sure you're giving that a listen as well. But all in all, I thought it was a good press conference from Ollie. I think there is positivity around the club at the moment. I think we've got to ride that. I know a lot of you are Ollie out. And look, I'll put my hands up. I said it on the podcast. Do I think he's the manager long term? No, I don't. But I think we're in a bubble. I think it's between now and May. Let's see what's going to happen. I want Pogba to come back and play. I know a lot of you don't. I know a lot of you say he's toxic. But look, sell him in the summer. Use him till now. Ollie, let's see what happens in May. Let's just see. I feel there's a bit of positivity around United. But the Rashford news, it's sad, but it's right. He has to get the recuperation. I want Marcus Rashford to play for United for 10 years. Not be finished because we keep playing him injured. Bit of a blow. I thought he'd be back in March. I think Rashford and United thought he was going to be back in March. Ollie said he's going to be out for a few more months. Yeah, it's touch and go whether he'll play again this season. So we're going to have to do it without Rashford. And that, to me, is the biggest injury we've had this season. I know we've had McTominay. I know we've had Pogba. But with Pogba, it's almost like you don't miss what you never had. And we've never really had Pogba this season. We've had to do what we've done without him. And at times it's been bad. But at the moment, we've got a bit of momentum. We've got to get some momentum. And tomorrow, we'll have to wait and see how it goes. But thanks everyone for watching. Smash a like on the video. I will be live on Mark Goldbridge That's Football at 8 o'clock. Join me for that. We're going to be having a bit of a Timo Werner watch, but also a Spurs watch and more chat about United. And please do go and give the podcast a listen. The link's in the video description. There's a couple of funny bits in there that even I think's funny. Ricky, it's not really Ricky, it's me. And the Jamie Carragher bit's funny as well. I think it's funny. Thanks for watching. Check out the podcast. You can only listen to the podcast on the podcast. It won't be up on YouTube, so it's exclusively podcast stuff. Thanks for watching. I'll see you at 8 o'clock. On That's Football, not here.